Welcome to the XL Energy Center here in St. Paul, Minnesota. The Blue Jackets getting set to take on the Minnesota Wild, a matchup of the two hottest teams in the National Hockey League. Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott. And Jody, let's go with the Blue Jackets win in Winnipeg. A pretty decisive victory, a pretty impressive victory, actually.
Well, yeah, and again, another cast of characters stepping up. That fourth line for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Guys taking a lesser role for the good of the team, getting the victory. A lot of good things happening. Sergei Bobrovsky's on his game. Last night, Minnesota got their win, put them at 12 in a row. The Blue Jackets at 14. When you look at where this matchup is headed, it's a collision course of two teams with fantastic goaltending and kind of built the same way, and just want to win this game.
Absolutely. And when you talk about the win Minnesota had over the New York Islanders, they were challenged in that win. They had to come back and make sure that they got the victory in that game. But the goaltenders are so good. When you look at their stats throughout the streaks, they are almost identical in the goals against average, in the save percentage, and neither one is lost, obviously, in the streak. But they're also a little bit different, too. Devin Dubnyk is a very big goaltender, a little bit bigger than Sergei Bobrovsky, who uses his quickness to his advantage.
Yeah, Dubnyk is a guy who's really reinvented himself and has become an elite goaltender. A lot of similar things happening for both teams. Goaltender that's found his way this season. A team that's finding ways to win. You mentioned last night the Minnesota Wild found a way to get that done over the New York Islanders, and they thought they were going to be out of the game. But this group found a way with resiliency and confidence to get that win. So a lot of similarities. Both teams get it from all different kinds of places, and the constant is the goaltender, which keeps them in the matchup all game long.
No question about it. But I will tell you one thing. If you were expecting to hear a lot of hype and celebration from the players and coaches on both of these teams, you will not hear any of that. They are both towing the same line, which is the season's only a little over 30 games old. It's nice that this game has a storyline, but it's just another day.
Yeah, but we're not buying into that. This is a fantastic storyline for both teams, for the National Hockey League. I mean, you look at this, it comes on the last day of 2016. It's a nice early game, 5 o'clock here in Minnesota. And listen, the players are excited. We were just in the locker room of the Minnesota Wild. They're excited. You know, you say to them, oh, you guys are hot, and they say, oh, the Blue Jackets are hot. So a little deflection going on there, but with the players and what they know, they want to get the wins and continue their streaks.
One thing Bruce Boudreau, the head coach of the Minnesota Wild, said when talking about these teams, and you said how they're so similar in the ways that they play, but he said special teams is a difference in the Blue Jackets. #1 power play in the NHL coming into the game, and he thinks that could be a factor. He doesn't want his team in the penalty box.
Well, interesting. Scott Stevens is an assistant coach here. Longtime New Jersey Devils, Stanley Cup champion a couple times, and he's running the defensive core and the penalty kill. And his comment was, the only way to stop the power play of the Columbus Blue Jackets is stay out of the penalty box. So they're going to be trying to be a disciplined team tomorrow. They know how hot they are, and you're 100% right. Specialty teams in these matchups with the goaltending and the structure and the confidence, it's going to be huge. Any kind of advantage either team can get is going to be huge in tomorrow night's game.
All right, put yourself back in your skates.
Oh.
Okay, don't do it for real. But as a player, even though you're trying to say it's just game 34, 35, 36, when you come in here tomorrow and it's electric, and there's a lot of media around today, as a matter of fact, just getting the quotes and stuff, all that pressure starts to come down on you. How do you go out there and approach it just like it's any other day?
Well, that's what they've done, the Blue Jackets, and I can only speak for them. You've heard the focus of John Tortorella and his group. They're marching the way Torch says. Just take care of today's business. That sets them up for these situations. Both teams, when you're on a streak like this, you feel like you're never going to lose again. So those feelings, they come into play. Both teams are going to feel that way. If it's tight late in tomorrow night's game, both teams are going to have the confidence. It's going to set up for a real head-to-head solid matchup. But as a player, you don't worry about that. Once you get the gear on, once you get out there, it's fun, and you just keep doing what you're doing.
I guess the only shame of it is by the end of tomorrow, somebody is going to have a former winning streak.
That's fine. They can start a new one.
Okay. That sounds good. The game tomorrow is going to be at 6 o'clock Eastern Time in Columbus. You'll be able to watch Jody on Fox Sports Ohio. I will be on the Blue Jackets radio network, and that includes 102.5, CD 102.5 in Columbus for the game tomorrow. So we're set, ready to go. I think you are, aren't you?
Yeah, we're ready to go. The Blue Jackets are fired up. There's practicing here behind us, another high-paced practice. We're getting ready for tomorrow night.
All right, that'll do it from Minnesota. For Jody Shelley, I'm Bob McElligott.